Hello and welcome to the Hope Holders podcast. I'm your host, Julie Bonham Howard, and I just want to welcome you to today's episode. This space is for people who love an addicted adult who is struggling with addiction and all that entails. I have a special heart for moms. While I have many people in my life that have struggled with addiction, it is my daughter, and was the toughest on me, so that's my special place in my heart is for moms of addicted adults. So we're just here to walk this road with faith and wisdom and honesty. So if you've ever felt torn between loving deeply and letting go, between trusting God and trying to fix what seems out of control, you're in the right place. Here we talk about hard things without shame, anchor ourselves in truth, and take small, faithful steps to move forward in our journey, move towards peace and towards Jesus. I'm your host, Julie, and my heart is to remind you that you can love your child fiercely without losing yourself. You don't have to have all the answers. Today, you just need a place to land, to take a deep breath, to spend some time with God, and to hopefully get some encouragement and some wisdom. So today's episode, this is the fourth episode in a series that we've done on building an accountability team. So this is the last episode of instruction we're going to do on building an accountability team. I'm very excited. Next week, I should have my accountability team in the studio that I'm going to interview, and we're going to talk about how our team works together to get us through life on the good days and the bad. So hopefully I'll have that for you next week. I'm really excited about it. So be sure and tune back in. So we have talked about why you need an accountability team. We've talked about how to build an accountability team and who you need to have on it. We've talked about how to make that accountability team actually work for you today. For you last week. And then today, we're going to talk about the support team. What is the difference between support team and friends? What's the difference? Why are just having friends not enough? And so we're going to talk about those differences and talk about how it varies. And we're going to learn, hopefully hone in on making your support team a little bit stronger and a little bit better. So many moms think they already have support because they have people they talk to. But not all support leads to growth. Not every safe person is a sharpening person. There's a difference between being heard and being guided. And so when you look at the way friendships work, typically they support you, but there's not necessarily a lot of accountability. There's not necessarily a lot of guidance. Sometimes there is, but not necessarily. Friends typically they'll listen to you, and they will listen to you. They will let you go on and on and on for a very long period of time, wallowing in whatever it is that you're struggling with. And they comfort you. They say nice things to make you feel better and that sort of thing. They might validate your pain or validate your emotions or validate your feelings and that sort of thing. And they may sit with you in that pain. And all of that is important. None of that is negative. All of that is important. It is important to have people that can do that for you, but it's not balanced. If you It's incomplete. Comfort is necessary, but it's not enough for transformation. So if someone allows you to continue to go on and on and on about your struggles and never really calls you to action, to change something, to do something different, if they're always validating you instead of correcting you or giving you truth or giving you godly advice, that is not a good accountability team. A support team will speak truth in love. They help you hold boundaries, they challenge your thinking, and they point you back to God. And that's the difference. Comfort is important, and it's good that you have that. But you also have to have people that will guide and direct you in the right way back towards Jesus. So I have told my children as they were growing up, they'd have conflicts with friends and that sort of thing. And one of the things that I've told them is that you have to understand not everybody is good for every role in your life. There are some friends that you can have that are great for a good time. If you want to go out somewhere and have dinner, go do something fun or whatever, they are great for a good time. Lots of laughs, that sort of thing. But they may not necessarily be the person that you want to confide your deepest secrets in. Maybe they're not good at keeping secrets, or maybe they're not the person that you want to seek out for wisdom. I've got friends that I could say there was a conflict with my husband or something, or my daughter or something like that. There are friends that I could talk to, and they would come and they would be ready to help me bury a body, right? Like they're gonna fire me up, and they're gonna be ready to stand behind me, and they're gonna be 100% behind me, no matter how mad I am or what's going on. But my accountability team is going to kind of talk me off the ledge. I remember when my father died, my friends helping me, and one of my kids looked at one of my friends, and she says, "Well, he said, well, this friend did this for my mom, and this friend did that for my mom, and this friend did that for my mom. What do you do for her?" And she looked at him and she said, "I talk her off the ledge." And that's what a good sponsor and accountability team will do. They will talk you off the ledge. And that is what we need in an accountability team. We don't need somebody that's going to grab their pitchfork and go on a rampage with us. We need somebody that's going to talk us off the ledge, settle us down, and point us back to do the next right thing. A friend sits with you in the pain. A support team helps you grow through it. Ephesians 4:15 says, "Speak the truth in love." Real support includes both compassion and correction. So it is a true friend. We talk about Jesus and all the things going on in the world, and people saying, Jesus is love and Jesus is accepting and that sort of thing. And he is. He loves everybody. He accepts everybody. The thing about it is that he loves us too much to leave us as we are. True love helps and promotes and helps us grow and helps us be a better person. So an accountability team is going to help you grow through these various things. It's going to help you do the next right thing. When we find ourselves in these situations, often, even as loved ones of addicted, but certainly addicted, but also the loved ones, when we find ourselves in these situations, it may be at the end of a long line of bad choices. Like if you're just now looking out for support, like you're looking for this podcast or something like it, and you've been doing this for a while, maybe you've been enabling, maybe you've been allowing poor choices, maybe you've been doing all those sort of things. And so we get to this area where we've made a lot of poor choices, and we don't need people to come alongside us and say, "Yay, keep going." We need people to tell us the truth and help us evaluate those situations and see what our part is in it, and what we can change, and how we can better honor God, and how we can do the next right thing. That's a huge thing we talk about in the Celebrate Recovery that I lead. And even the church that I'm a part of, we talk about doing the next right thing. That's all we can really do, is do the next right thing. So, why this difference matters. Without the right voices, you stay stuck in cycles. If you just maintain a toxic friendship where they're just co-signing everything you feel, everything you want to do, at your anger, encouraging you to lash out, encouraging you to be mean, encouraging you to do things that God would not approve of, it can keep you stuck in that cycle. And emotions drive those decisions. We can get so caught up in our emotions and how we feel. And we've already talked about loving someone in addiction is a roller coaster ride of emotions. But emotions aren't facts, and emotions aren't truth. It's just how we're feeling in that moment. It's not necessarily even that the other person did a certain thing. It's the way that we perceived it, and we've got to have somebody that we can kind of talk to, work through those emotions, so that they're not driving our decisions. We want our intellect and our heart and our especially the Holy Spirit driving our decisions, not our emotions. Our emotions are not reliable, and our boundaries weaken if we don't have somebody to help us stand strong. When we set a boundary and they react badly and they hate us and they can make 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't hold that boundary or whatever. You need somebody that understands, that has the wisdom of recovery, that has the wisdom of working with people in addiction, that can help you decipher when to hold those boundaries and when not. Because boundaries aren't brick walls, they're fences. Sometimes we need to let people through, sometimes we don't. But that's a Holy Spirit guided conversation, and it's something that we can talk about with our accountability team. One example in my life, when my daughter was in rehab, she was pregnant. It was during 2020, during the pandemic. The world had shut down. They had stopped letting them have passes. They weren't letting them have many phone calls even. They would shut, like if I would take her groceries, they would shut the door where she couldn't even see me. They weren't letting them go outside. She was just in this place. There was no recovery going on. I work in recovery. I'm a big part of a recovery community. At a certain point, it got to the point where she would have been getting more recovery at home with me. So she's pregnant, and we're trying to figure out what to do. Well, I didn't just go say, "Okay, you've had enough." It's a bad place because it's going to be real common. If your loved one is in rehab, it's not going to be fun, and it's not going to be comfortable, and they're not going to want to stay there. And so I could have just said, okay, you'd get more recovery at home. I'm coming to get you. But I actually went and talked to my support team. I talked to some that were recovering addicts that worked in recovery, and I laid out why I was thinking what I was thinking. And both of them told me, I came here completely ready to tell you not to do this, but I think you're right. I think she needs to come home at this time. And so we were going to take her. She was due to have the baby any minute. We were going to take her out just a couple of weeks before he was born, but he ended up being born, and she just didn't go back. But it was a very prayerful decision that we talked out with there was a lot of good reasons to do it, and it was not the norm. I tell people most of the time, Jesus is not telling your person to leave the rehab before they're finished. And most of the time he doesn't. That's going to be a rare exception. And so you need to be surrounded by those godly people that can help you determine, okay, is this the exception, or do I need to hold to the boundary and hold to the rule? Comfort keeps you, so let's see. So with the right voices, you gain clarity, you grow stronger, and you walk in wisdom. The right voices on your support team are going to help you get clearer. Confusion is not something, God is not the author of confusion, the enemy is. So your support team is going to help you get clarity on what's going on, clarity about what needs to happen next, and you're going to go stronger with their support. And they help you to walk in wisdom. They help you to walk in wisdom that you may not have yet. But you all have wisdom in different areas. You all have different gifts. You're all going to have things that you're stronger about. And when you come together as a team, it makes all of you stronger overall. Comfort keeps you afloat, but truth helps you move forward. So if you were shipwrecked in the ocean, that comfort would be like that life vest that keeps you afloat. And it would keep you afloat in the middle of the ocean, but you would never get anywhere because that's all it's doing is keeping you afloat. Truth helps move you forward. Truth is like a little motor on the raft to help you get where you need to go, to help you find a shore, or even just, kicking or whatever to get to shore. You need both, but you need to know which is which. It's both a part of the process, but you need to know which is which and when it's appropriate to go for comfort and when it's important to go for accountability. So, some practical reflections. Ask yourself who in your life comforts you and who challenges you towards truth. There are a lot of sleep issues in my family. None of us sleep worth a hoot. And so I used to have a lot of insomnia. And back when my dad and my grandmother were alive, they were always up in the middle of the night. So when I would get anxiety in the middle of the night, I would call one of the other ones. And if I wanted somebody to tell me what I wanted to hear, I called my grandmother. And if I wanted to talk to somebody that would tell me the truth and give me some good advice, I called my dad. And I think we have to kind of look at our relationships like that. Like who are we counting on for comfort, and who are we counting on for accountability? Identify one person in your life. And we've talked about building a team, and hopefully you've identified some. But if you haven't already, identify one person who could step into a stronger accountability role. Somebody that has some spiritual maturity, that has some experience with what you're going through, somebody that you respect, someone whose opinion matters to you, someone who gives good advice, and someone who has good integrity. God doesn't just send people to sit with you, He sends people to help lead you into freedom. And that's what all of this, the goal of all of this is. We don't have much control over whether or not our loved ones get sober. That's just one of those, if you talk about the serenity prayer, that's one of those things you can't control. But what you can control is your own relationship with Jesus and your own recovery. And if going through this process can build your relationship with Jesus and make you stronger and wiser, then you win. I know that's not the desired outcome. I know the real outcome you want is for your loved one to get sober. But either way, you can get closer to God, and you can grow in strength, and you can grow in wisdom. And that's our goal, because that's what we can control, and that's what we can work towards. So before we wrap up today, I just want you to know this: you're not alone in this journey. Even on the days where it feels isolating and overwhelming, confusing, all of those things, if you're not alone, we're here with you. We want to support you. If today's episode stirred anything in you, I invite you to sit with it for a moment and let God meet you right there. We encourage you to like, share, comment, all the things. We want to get the word of Christ to the hope we've found in Christ to as many people as possible. So please engage with the content, and let's get it to more and more people. If you'd like more encouragement and practical faith-centered resources for loving an addicted adult, I have a website. It's www.alovelikehis.com. It's made especially for people just like you that love an addicted adult, especially mamas that love an addicted adult child. And there's lots of articles and resources. I have written a workbook called The Surrendered Yes and Sacred No. When you go to that website, there'll be a little pop-up. If you put your email in that, we'll send you that workbook right out. And so just fill that out, and we'd be happy to do that for you. If you need prayer, I know sometimes it gets lonely. You need somebody to talk to, and maybe that accountability team isn't always available at 3, in the middle of the night or whatever. So we do have a prayer line that you are welcome to call, and somebody will be happy to pray with you. Call the number on your screen and just tap into that resource. This podcast is produced by BGTV Studios. That is a Christian network that produces about 53 podcasts. They are working hard to get the word of Christ out to as many people as possible. They make conversations like this possible. They have some special needs going on right now. There's some equipment that they really need to replace. So if you have a little extra that you could give, if you could put towards that and just help keep the good work that they're doing going, please give to the address. Go to the address on your screen or in your show notes and give to them, and let's keep this going. Thank you so much for coming today. Appreciate everybody that's come along this journey with us. Look forward to next week. I'll have my support team here. We'll be doing an interview. I think it's going to be really fun. We are quite the mess when we all get together. So I think there will be a lot of laughs and a lot of wisdom. So tune back in next week for that. Have a great week, and God bless you. Thank you.